Treasury Committee of the UK's Parliament today released a new report hammering banks in the UK for what you called online failures in terms of what customers do. It said banks are experiencing more IT failures than necessary, and customers are complaining. If you are complaining in Nigeria about IT failures when you're doing banking transactions using a POS, using an ATM or whatever, it also happens in the UK. So let me ask my colleague, Juliana Olayinka, how she's been coping with these IT failures in the UK. Barclays Bank is said to be the most notorious of them. So have you been affected, Juliana? By the way, good morning. Welcome to the show. Hope you had a great weekend.
Good morning, Bosun. I had a lovely weekend. My bank was working fine, thankfully.
Okay. But you've experienced IT failures at some point, maybe not as notorious as it is here in Nigeria.
Obviously not as bad as it is back there, but certainly something for the consumer watchdog to be worried about. The House of Commons Treasury Select Committee, they kind of oversee all of the financial and regulations in economics in the UK. They said that considering we are in a digital innovation and that banks are fastly moving people just from going into the high street store to relying on digital applications, they say it's not good enough that over the past couple of years there have been some quite major and then again some quite minor operational failures. Some of the big names that they mentioned are TSB Bank, Barclays Bank, the Visa operating system, and some others like Royal Bank of Scotland. And in some cases, some people were shut off from online banking for a couple of hours. But in more severe cases, it went into the over 24 hours. And the Select Committee is saying that this is not just a minor insignificance. For some people, particularly the elderly and those that are less able to get out of their homes, that this has caused major issues for them. And for millions and millions of users, they've been paying their bills late, they haven't been able to top up at the tank, and they haven't been able to get their groceries. So as we are in this digital innovation, the watchdog is saying that they want to call on more regulatory scrutiny to make sure that if we're asking customers to be using online banking, that there needs to be a system set up to reduce these IT operational failures.
It's also interesting that the MP say perhaps banks should be fined and some levies should be placed on them for these IT failures. That's part of the story. But we appreciate that, Juliana. But again, as we have heard from Tempo earlier, banks in Nigeria are reporting their numbers, and in the UK, I'm sure, across Europe as well, even in the US, it's the earnings season. So talk to us about HSBC earnings here. How is this bank holding up?
Well, in short, what the markets are saying here is that HSBC have taken a massive beating in their third quarter, and they're saying that it's not looking to get any better. That was the big mover and shaker in the FTSE 100. Their pre-tax profits fell £4.8 billion. This is in comparison to this same period last year, so they're down about 18%. Also, their revenue fell 3% to £13.4 billion. Now, of course, to me and you, those are big numbers. But for HSBC, it's not looking so good. Of course, as well, they are headquartered in London, but they are a major player in Asia. And we know that this economic uncertainty, particularly with the big titans of China and US, has really hit them hard. In August, their CEO was quit, or he was sacked. We don't know. They're a little bit not sure about how they're playing that. But when he did leave, they also mentioned that they will be cutting off about 2% of their international workforce. And then last month, the Financial Times said on top of those 5,000 jobs, a further 10,000 would be going. So it's not looking great for HSBC at the moment. But we've seen, even with other banks who have been reporting over the past couple of days, that really this global uncertainty is starting to hit home.
£4.8 billion, that's what I call skyfall. But again, that's... so that was a great movie, but that's a nice movie, by the way. I enjoyed it. Skyfall. James Bond, that's it, isn't it?
It's James Bond, yes, a British movie.
Yeah. Nice one, nice one. So, so the British movie to Brexit. Where are we? Where was the new deadline? I keep chasing this. I keep flipping my calendar front and back. I'm not sure where to put a pen. Whether it's going to be October 31st or January 2020. What are you learning today? Where is the new date? Give me a date. I need to mark it down.
Well, it's absolutely not October the 31st. We know that for almost absolute certain. But, you know, considering the state of British politics, anything can happen. But I think leaving on that day is out of the water. Today, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, will ask MPs to back a December the 12th general election. If you're looking at parliamentary mathematics, it doesn't add up. So it's very unlikely that he'll get the vote today. He needs 2/3 of a majority. And at the moment, he's running a government on a big minority. Also, as well, the EU 27, the heads of states, they'll be meeting in Brussels today, and they will decide whether or not they're going to give a month extension or a 3-month extension. A lot of people were thinking it will be January the 31st. But if by the strike of luck, Boris Johnson does get his December the 12th election, it's like December the 12th general election, it will be likely that he will try to leave the EU before the new year. But who knows? He said he would definitely be leaving on October the 31st, and that won't be happening.
I'm sure whether October the 31st or January 31st, I'm sure the sky will not fall on Brexit today. That I can predict, and I put my money on it. Put your money on it as well, Juliana. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Join Chimezobi where I go after lunch for 1:30 Business Incorporated.